Here's how to replace the rear wheel bearing and nut assembly on a 2005 limited V6 with third row two-wheel drive Toyota Highlander. Once you have the car jacked up, everything still should be loose. Take them off, pop the tire off, and then you're ready to start. Once you have the wheel off, next you're going to want to take out these two bolts here, which will allow you to take this off, and they're 14 millimeters, not liters. Once you have this caliper taken off and tied up, just to have it out of the way, you have the 17 millimeter bolts here and here that need to come off, and they're fairly easy. Once you get that off, this pops right off. Once you have the caliper tied up and all the housing units off, next thing you want to do is get the rotor off in order to expose the wheel bearing. And with this one, you're going to have to spin this around until you can see you have to loosen up the e-braking. So there's a little geared wheel that you have to get a screwdriver in there and push down on it in order to loosen up. And once you do that, if it doesn't come off freely, then whack it with a hammer, jar it loose. Okay, so the last step depends on how stuck everything gets, but your next step is to undo these ones. They are 17 millimeters. You need a deep socket in order to get in there. And then I made a breaker bar using some pipes and took a little bit, but popped them all off. If you find that the dust guard and the e-brake is stuck onto your wheel bearing assembly, then what I had to do in order to get it off was I got a bolt in here and a nut here, and I just pushed up against this because this is pretty solid, and it popped it off, and then it slid right on out. Because once you get 17 millimeter bolts in, there's nothing holding it on except for rust and old age. And once you get the old one off, you slide it out, you put the new one in, line up the holes, tighten everything down. When putting the rotor back on, you want to make sure you line it up properly so there's a hole where this one is, otherwise you won't have access to loosen up the e-brake, which means it's a lot harder to get the rotor off. Once you have this housing unit in, all that's left is untie that, put it back in, and tighten these down. They're 14 millimeter bolts. And just tighten up the lug nuts. Well, put the tire on, tighten up the lug nuts, lower it down, take it for a test drive, and see how everything goes.